In Philly, Mad Dog Unleashed. Robert, your turn. How are you today, pal? Okay?
Good, Chris. How you doing, buddy?
Fine, Bob. Thank you. Let me hear now.
Hey, as a Sixers fan, couple things. Number one, it's not everybody. My friends were complaining about Brett Brown's not calling timeouts during the Celtics run in Game 2. One thing I noticed about Brad Stevens, he never lets a team. The biggest run the Sixers had, I believe, was 8 points, which was at the beginning of Game 2. Sixers will get a couple baskets, 4-6. He calls timeout. It's not just when they're called. It's not just whether or not they call timeouts, but when he calls them. And it's like the previous caller said, I don't think there's anybody better that draws up plays out of a timeout.
He's got 400 of them. Everybody is. Yeah, good point, Bob. We'll let you continue here in a minute. The thing that would bother me if I was in Philly today doing a sports talk program, I'm going to say to myself, let me get this straight, folks. We have Redick who can shoot. We got a 6'8" point guard. And we have a big-time 7-foot center. And we got a lot of role players. And we have a team that is competitive with most teams in the Eastern Conference. How do we lose 3 close games? The only three close games in this series, how do we lose them all? That's what I would ask.
Chris, I can answer that. Game 3 was just, a miscommunication on a pass when the Sixers had the ball tied. And last night, I don't mean to point the finger. I'm not giving Brown a pass, but J.J. Redick is making $20 million. First of all, he was wide open for a 3 at 109, 105.
Yeah.
Right. The second one was at 109, 107. This is just Tatum drives to the basket. Why does Marcus Smart follow the shot and Redick stands there? Redick was guarding Smart, and Smart got the ball and scored. And Redick was standing there.
When did he miss when did he miss that 3 when they were up late in the
109? It was 109, 105. Chris, he was wide open.
So they were up by 4. They were up by 4 when he missed that shot. They were up by 4.
And it was the only open look he got. That Boston did a great job on him defensively. And to be fair, the role players. I don't know what happened. Barinelli couldn't guard you or me in this series. And Ilyasova, he's a good player. He makes a couple head scratchers too. And Dario, falling down in the lane with a guy, he's got Marcus Smart on him. It was a calamity.
Yeah, he's lucky that wasn't an offensive foul. They didn't call anything on that play, but that was an offensive foul.
I completely agree. But you know what? Listen, Stevens is a great coach, and for me, Chris, I was wrapped up in it when you had Bob Ryan on. I thought the Sixers were going to the Eastern Conference Finals where I thought they would lose to LeBron. But one thing I heard from another sports show is it's either going to have to be Simmons or Embiid wants the ball, but Simmons is going to have to develop in this, or they're going to have to find somebody else who, like you said, Chris, who wants the ball when the game is on the line. You got to have somebody like that,
and you got to have a perimeter, and you have to have a perimeter player. Because you can't guarantee that they are going to allow you to get the ball to Embiid. They can double him. He's going to play maybe back to the basket. You do not want him shooting threes. He shot 29% on threes in a year, which is absurd. He even got a chance to shoot any of them. You don't want
It's a head scratch.
Why is he even allowed to shoot a 3? To keep him happy? Why would you do that? But and you don't have and maybe Fultz can be that guy. You need a perimeter player who can knock down jump shots and also create his own shot. That's a major problem. You're right about that. We'll see what they can do. So
Chris,
is Brown Bob taking grief?
He's taking some. He got more grief for not calling timeouts during the Celtics run in Game 2. He got more flack for that. The Sixers, again, Chris, don't forget, they had 2 chances to win the game. And I get the coaching, but from a player's perspective, the Sixers were up 94-90, and Boston turned the ball over twice, and the Sixers did nothing to expand the lead.
Right.
And then again, 109-105, Redick's only open look of the night.
Nice to knock it down.
Bricks went off the front of the rim.
Yeah,
if you're making $20 million, make the shot.
Good point. Now, he made one later, which was a big shot. Now, he made one there, which got him back within 1, which a little bit made up for, but I understand where you're coming from. Scotty in Tampa, he's on Mad Dog Unleashed. Scott, good afternoon. Your turn. How are you today?
Hey, Doggy, before I get to the NBA, I'm doing well, thanks. Real quick, since your channel, it seems, has become, WFAN Junior with all the Yankee talk, Can we get the crack committee started up again, Doggy? Because all this Yankee talk's making me want to throw up.
Well, the reason why we're doing a lot of Yankee talk right now is because they're playing the Red Sox. You're not going to get a lot of Winnipeg Jet, Nashville Predator calls.
Yeah,
you're not going to get it. You're not going to get those calls.
Stevie's going to be doing Yankee talk in the middle of June, even if they're playing, the Kansas City Royals. I'm going to be getting the Yankee breakdown. Here's the thing on the NBA. To the last caller, first of all, Chris, he's wrong. The Sixers were only up 2 when Redick missed a shot. Now, I still think if he hits that 3, the game's over at 5. But it wasn't a 4-point lead. It was a 2-point lead late in the game when Redick missed the open 3.
Yeah, it was 109-107, not 109-105. Okay. Yep. Go ahead.
And here's the thing on the NBA.
He makes that shot though with 127. They're going to win the game.
I agree. Here's the thing on Stevens, Chris. Now, I agree he's a good coach, but boy, I'm shocked at you, Chris. Stevens, as you would say, give me the big team and the big coach Brad Stevens has beaten. He hasn't beaten anybody. He beat a Milwaukee Bucks team where the coach is getting fired, and he's going to beat Brent Brown in the Sixers, and everybody has Brad Stevens in the Hall of Fame. Now, granted, he's a good coach, but he hasn't beaten a good team or a good coach yet. Can we slow down?
How about the NCAA tournament doesn't count?
I'm not counting I'm talking about his NBA career. His NCAA career is fantastic. Outside of not having a national championship, the guy took Butler, a no-name team, to back-to-back championships, which is unheard of. But in the NBA, Chris, he hasn't beaten a big-time team or a big-time coach yet. Not one.
Well, I mean, you're right about the Bucks. They were a huge underdog, Scott, in this series. Now, you want to tell me the bookies got it wrong? They were a huge underdog. And if you look at the rosters of these teams, if I gave you the first pick, you're going to take Embiid. And if I gave you the second pick, although you could take Tatum, you're probably going to take because of his potential, you still might take Simmons. And he beat him in 5 games. Now, last year, they beat the Wizards in 7. All right, and in the first round last year, they beat the Bulls in 6 when they were all banged up, and obviously the Bulls then lost Rondo. The year before that, they lost to Atlanta, I believe, in 6 games. Okay, so you want to see a signature win out of them, and well, they're going to get their chance. We'll see if they can pull it off here against against Cleveland. Here's John in Philly. He's on Mad Dog Unleashed. Johnny, good afternoon. How are you today? What do you have for me?
Mike, how you doing, man? Look, Steven's great coach. We know that. No one's talking about how badly Wright got out-coached in this series.
Well, I did. That was a big theme for me. I made a big deal about it. Go ahead.
Absolutely embarrassing. I don't think he's the guy we want to grow with this young team. I think the Sixers need to throw everything they can at Jay Wright to try to get him in. What do you think about that?
Here's what I would say. I think that Jay Wright would be much more inclined to go to Philadelphia than he would be the Knicks. Now, that would be an interesting hire. I would be worried about Brown, whether he can take them to the next level. And he's done his job. He's been a good soldier. He coached all these teams, which absolutely were awful. And, I don't know how to read that performance. He did a good job this year. They won 50-something games. Give him some credit. I'm assuming they like him. But he was outclassed in this series. I don't see how you can say he wasn't. I mean, they played 3 close games. They lost a 22-point lead in Game 2. They fell apart in Game 3. Bad passes, gave up layups off inbounds plays. They collapsed in that scenario there late in Game 3, and then yesterday they couldn't get the job done. So, to me, I'm not sure if I'd be so confident that he'd be the coach of the future if I was Philadelphia. Now, I don't know what they're going to do with him, but I would not be so sure. Now, Scott is right, 109-107. To be fair to Brown, if Redick makes that shot, they're going to win a game, and we'll be for Game 6. And he's wide open, and he missed a jump shot. Everybody picked that shot up. What do you want to do about Brett Brown?
Yeah, we were talking about it today on the show. I mean, look, was he schooled by Brad Steele? 100%. I mean, 100%. The one thing I will say is, though, I mean, they showed you some pretty good fight after getting behind 3-0. You know what I mean? I mean, they could have won that game very easily last night.
Yeah, you can make that comment.
And they played hard in Game 4, and he made the switch to McConnell. I mean,
they did not give up on him.
Right. So I think that's a good sign.
And that's a good point. I agree with that. It's a good point. You got to give him credit for that. How about Stevens? You buy the fact he hasn't beaten a great coach yet, so let's see. Hasn't overachieved in a series, or do you think he's by far the best coach in the league?
I lean towards the major kudos with this guy. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, he's going to win championships. There's no doubt about it. And if you're looking at the Celtics right now, it's a house money mentality right now, I think, based on what they did with two major injuries and they're in the conference final. Now, I understand the conference is weak, but a lot of people had Philadelphia penciled in here to meet LeBron. I mean, there was talk when LeBron was struggling against Indiana that, maybe they were the more attractive draw in the final, the Sixers. Meanwhile, they're out, and here are the Celtics. So, I think everything's trending in the right direction. Obviously, with them, you're going to get those two guys back, and they're going to be a major force moving forward.
You think Boston's going to beat Philly?
You mean Cleveland?
Oh, when I say Cleveland, Philly, I meant Cleveland.
No, I think LeBron will figure out a way. But I think
how many games?
Well, I guess logically you would say 6 since Cleveland doesn't have the home court.
You can't take it in 7, Steve.
I understand. But I think it'll be a competitive series. I do.
Oh, I think so too. Now, I don't think the other one will be, but I think this one will be very, very competitive. So you don't buy the idea that he has to, for his notch something on his belt, that he's got to beat LeBron in a playoff series. Last year he got annihilated.
He did.
So to really put him up on that high level of the all-time greats, per se, not that he is that yet, but he'd have to beat LeBron.
All right, let's hypothetically say they beat the Cavs. Are we going to look at it as that a great of an achievement based on the fact that it's LeBron and a bunch of guys who aren't that great? I mean, the supporting cast isn't good. It's not a particularly great team.
Well, Toronto didn't beat him. Indiana didn't beat him. Yeah. He beats. I know where you're coming from. I mean, Cleveland isn't that fine. Does have home court. But I think you have to be impressed with the fact that he's gotten a lot out of Rozier. He's figured out what to do with Smart. Horford's never played better. And Tatum, he's moved along. I mean, he played 1 year in college, this kid.
Tremendous.
This is not a guy who's got 20 years in the NBA under his belt. He's 19, 20 years old. Now, he is a great player. And this trade that Ainge made, did you hear me read the concept of this trade? Did you hear this before a little while ago?
I did not know.
He moved down 2 spots last year to get the 3rd pick, and Philadelphia moved up to get Fultz.
Right.
You know what he got out of that? You have any? I didn't know. So
refresh my memory. Go ahead.
So he gets, because he moved down to 3.
Right.
He gets the Lakers' 2018 first-round pick. If it ends up being 2, 3, 4, or 5.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, if it ends up being 6 and later, or ends up being 1, he doesn't get it.
Mm-hmm.
In that case, he will choose between the Kings' first-round pick in 2019 or the Sixers' first-round pick in 2019.
Yeah, I wasn't sure about all the particulars.
Now, he will take the Kings' first-round pick because there'll be a lottery pick, and the Sixers will not be.
Right.
So he gets another lottery pick, essentially, about moving down 2 spots. He ends up, Ainge, with the best player out of the 3 guys.
Yeah. Boy, it looks good. Yeah, no, it's a great move. Look, I have no doubts that Brad Stevens will get to where he needs to get to in terms of how we view him.
And I don't care what anybody says. There is definitely jealousy about how he didn't get a vote from the coaches for Coach of the Year. If they all voted for Dwayne Casey, I can live with it. When 7 vote for Quinn Snyder, Doc Rivers, Nate McMillan, Brett Brown, there's an issue. Well, Eric Spoelstra got a vote.
The Doc Rivers thing is really because they didn't even make the playoffs. I mean, that's ridiculous. I don't know. Could it be an oversight? I mean, I don't know.
No.
It doesn't seem like it's possible.
How does he not get a vote? Now, listen, I'm not saying he should have won, nor should I have said he got a lot of votes. But you got
They
7.
did win 55 games, and they were the 2 seed.
And he lost Irving, who missed 22 games, and Hayward never played a game. How does this guy not get a vote? That's a joke.
Philadelphia got all the attention, so that explains that one. But, there are some that really make you scratch your head. I mean, Doc Rivers.
Spoelstra got a vote. Popovich.
That's like the old, Gold Gloves. Guys played 29 games because they had a reputation. Here's a vote.
How did Pop get a vote? What did Pop do this year? A team didn't have Kyrie Leonard. They were a 7th seed. What the hell did they do?
Not much.
Here's Steve, Sports Bite on Mad Dog Unlimited.